I'd physically gone after his son-in-law, I don't know, a year before at the toy convention because he said something about me that I didn't like. In front of his daughter, who was sitting right next to Triple H, as her mouth hit the floor when I almost went after him. Dad and I was one of the guys steering the ship at the company that was neck and neck with him. Let's just say that I didn't think I was one of on his Christmas list at that point.
The wrestling world is no stranger to drama, intense rivalries, and behind-the-scenes tensions that often rival the action in the ring. But when a legend like Goldberg, known for his no-nonsense attitude and straight-shooting personality, makes explosive remarks about another icon, Triple H, it's a story that shakes the entire WWE universe to its core. In a recent interview, Goldberg didn't hold back as he unveiled what he called the real truth about Triple H.
Yes, but it just wasn't something I signed up for at that point. So I pretty much, I don't know, 6 months, 7 months into it, I felt very uncomfortable being there. It was weird. I just didn't feel like I belonged. I'll be honest with you, I didn't feel like they wanted me.
I think one of the
claims sent shockwaves through the wrestling community, leaving fans questioning everything they thought they knew about the supposed backstage harmony in WWE. Goldberg, a towering figure who has dominated the wrestling landscape for decades, opened up about a history of backstage politics, creative clashes, and personal grievances involving Triple H, whose real-life persona as Paul Levesque has always been shrouded in a mix of respect and controversy. What followed was a series of jaw-dropping revelations that painted a complex picture of two titans who couldn't see eye to eye, both inside and outside the squared circle. To truly understand the magnitude of Goldberg's statements, it's essential to rewind the clock to the early 2000s when WWE acquired WCW. Goldberg, who was arguably WCW's biggest star, stepped into the WWE ring with a reputation that preceded him. Triple H, on the other hand, was not just a top-tier talent, but also someone deeply entrenched in WWE's corporate machine. From the outset, it seemed inevitable that these two larger-than-life figures would clash not just as wrestlers, but as individuals with vastly different views on the business. Let me tell you something, Goldberg began, his voice thick with frustration. When I first got to WWE.
And what's the relationship like with Vince when you get there? And there, like you said, there's been all this stuff. You've been on the opposite side, and you get there. Was it a good relationship?
Well, what do you think it was? Because no, it wasn't. It wasn't good by any means.
It wasn't about proving myself to the fans. I'd already done that. It was about surviving the politics. And when you're dealing with someone like Triple H, you're not just fighting a guy in the ring. You're fighting an entire system that he has in his pocket. According to Goldberg, one of the most contentious points between him and Triple H was the booking of their matches. Their infamous clash at SummerSlam 2003, where Goldberg was part of an Elimination Chamber match, became a symbol of everything wrong in their relationship. Fans expected Goldberg to walk out of that match as the World Heavyweight Champion, given his dominance and star power. Instead, it was Triple H, injured and unable to deliver his usual high-octane performance, who retained the title in what many critics deemed an overly political decision. Triple H didn't want to lose. Period. It didn't matter what was best for business. It didn't matter what the fans wanted. It was about protecting his spot. He went on to detail how creative decisions often seem skewed in Triple H's favor. It's one thing to lose a match because it makes sense for the story. It's another thing to lose because someone's pulling strings behind the curtain. That's the kind of stuff that makes you want to walk away and never look back. While Goldberg stopped short of confirming physical altercations, he admitted that words were exchanged on more than one occasion. "I'm not the kind of guy who bites his tongue," and Triple H didn't like that.
Your 1 year run there for a good period of time. Were you guys able to coexist in that program and get along? I mean, you became the World Heavyweight Champion.
We're both still alive, aren't we? Yeah, I think we both wanted to kill each other. But you gotta be, man, it's business. It's like if you work with a guy that you don't like or don't respect, you still show him respect for the business standpoint.
I called him out on things that didn't make sense. Maybe that's why he tried to bury me at every opportunity. "Look, I'm not here to drag anyone through the mud," he said, a sentiment that was quickly overshadowed by his next statement. "But when someone doesn't respect you as a person, it's hard to work with them." Triple H didn't respect what I brought to the table. He didn't respect WCW guys in general. This perceived bias led to several high-profile wrestlers from WCW and ECW feeling marginalized during their WWE tenure. Despite the tension, Goldberg acknowledged that not everything about his WWE run was negative. He expressed gratitude for the fans and the moments that allowed him to shine. However, he made it clear that Triple H's influence cast a long shadow over his career. "The fans are the reason I kept going, but behind the scenes, it was a nightmare. And Triple H was a big part of that. I hear people saying he's doing a great job running things, and maybe he is. But let's not pretend like he's some saint who always put the business first. He built his empire by stepping on people like me, and I won't forget that." Some argue that Goldberg's comments are sour grapes from a man who struggled to adapt to WWE's culture. Others see his statements as a brave expose of the toxic politics that have plagued professional wrestling for decades. As the story continues to unfold, one thing is certain: the rivalry between Goldberg and Triple H extends far beyond the ring. Their complicated history serves as a reminder that in the world of professional wrestling, the real drama often happens behind the curtain. Whether you side with Goldberg or Triple H, this latest chapter has added another layer of intrigue to their storied careers, leaving fans hungry for more answers and, perhaps, a resolution that may never come. The wrestling world is buzzing, and fans everywhere are talking about Goldberg's recent bombshell revelations about Triple H.
To me, and nobody's ever done it to him since, that I know of. It was tough, though. It was tough. It hurt my heart, you know. I mean, we went out there, and I completely understand. But, you know, you don't feel appreciated when you're in the ring and people are booing you and you're trying to give it your best. And then, you know, the worst part about it was right in the beginning, when I first got in the ring, I looked at Brock, and I swear he wanted to kill me. I mean, he had the worst look on his face.
For years, Triple H has been seen as a cornerstone of WWE, first as a dominant in-ring competitor, and now as the mastermind shaping the company's creative future. But Goldberg's words have cast a shadow over that reputation, forcing fans and industry insiders alike to question whether the man known as The Game has truly earned his accolades or if his success came at the expense of others.
It was quite a difficult evening.
And before we talk about you coming back, between 2004 and last year, was there ever a time where you were seriously considering coming back to wrestling for anybody?
No. I love you guys to death, but there was not 1 second that I seriously thought about coming back. There was no reason to. I mean, for me, I went out winning, beating arguably one of the biggest, baddest dudes on the planet, WrestleMania. I mean, a big stage. I didn't care whether they booed or not. For me, it was an accomplishment to make it there, to be there for only 1 year.
This story isn't just about two legends. It's about the complicated web of loyalty, ambition, and politics that defines professional wrestling. Goldberg's accusations were nothing short of incendiary. He pulled no punches when describing his relationship with Triple H, painting a picture of a backstage environment where power dynamics trumped merit and personal grudges often influenced professional decisions. Yet, the fallout of these revelations isn't limited to just the past. It raises critical questions about Triple H's current role as the face of WWE's creative team. If Goldberg's claims hold weight, could this tarnish Triple H's carefully cultivated image? And how might fans, who have grown to respect Triple H as a leader, react to this new narrative? Loyalty is a sacred currency in professional wrestling. In an industry built on trust both in the ring and backstage, it's often the determining factor between long-term success and bitter rivalries. Goldberg's perspective suggests a version of Triple H that values self-preservation and personal gain over loyalty to his peers. "You can't lead if you're stepping on people to get to the top," Goldberg said during the interview, his tone reflecting years of pent-up frustration. Leadership is about elevating those around you, not just yourself. Through his work with NXT, Triple H has been credited with fostering young talent and creating a platform for innovative storytelling. But Goldberg's critique forces us to reconsider whether this image is the full truth or simply a polished version of a more complex reality. Not everyone shares Goldberg's view. Several wrestlers, both past and present, have come forward to defend Triple H, highlighting his role in their careers. Kevin Owens, for instance, has often spoken about how Triple H believed in him when others didn't. "He gave me a chance to prove myself on the biggest stage," Owens once said. Similarly, Sasha Banks credited Triple H with being the reason she felt empowered to take creative risks.
And then to be leaving, fighting their biggest, baddest dude and beating him. After that, I didn't, it's all about the legacy that you leave or the impression that you leave when you're trying to do something. I didn't want to downgrade it. I was very lucky. I was in the right place at the right time, and I had the right people, coaching me along, and some of the wrong people, but I didn't listen to them.
These testimonies paint a different picture of a man who, despite his flaws, has left an indelible mark on the industry. This stark contrast between Goldberg's experience and the experiences of others points to the inherently subjective nature of loyalty in wrestling. For every wrestler who felt overshadowed or undermined by Triple H, there's another who credits him with their success. The divide isn't just a matter of personal grievances. It's also a reflection of the shifting power dynamics within WWE over the years. Goldberg himself acknowledged this dichotomy, albeit reluctantly. "Look, I get it. There are people who love the guy. Maybe he treated them differently. But that doesn't erase what happened to me and others like me. It's not about hate, it's about accountability." Wrestling history is rife with stories of power struggles, favoritism, and creative roadblocks. Goldberg's comments add another layer to this narrative, particularly as they target someone who now wields unprecedented influence over WWE's creative direction. If Triple H has indeed operated with a win-at-all-costs mentality, how might this affect his ability to lead the company into its next era? The reaction from fans has been predictably divided. On one hand, there are those who view Goldberg's remarks as overdue validation of long-held suspicions about Triple H's backstage behavior. On the other hand, many fans are skeptical, questioning whether Goldberg's words are motivated by lingering resentment over how his WWE career was handled. "Why is he bringing this up now?" asked one fan on social media. "If Triple H is doing such a great job today, shouldn't that count for something?" With each passing week, Triple H's influence becomes more apparent, from the revitalization of major storylines to the seamless integration of rising stars into the main roster. For many fans, this represents the culmination of years of hard work and vision. But Goldberg's accusations cast a shadow of doubt over whether this legacy was built on fair terms. One of the most striking aspects of this story is how it forces fans to grapple with their own understanding of loyalty. Wrestling fans are notoriously passionate, often idolizing their favorite performers while harshly criticizing those they perceive as villains. But what happens when the lines between hero and villain blur? Goldberg's remarks challenge fans to look beyond the ring and consider the human dynamics that shape the wrestling industry. From a broader perspective, this controversy also highlights the enduring tension between the old guard and the new wave of wrestling talent. Goldberg, as a representative of WCW's golden era, carries with him the weight of a bygone time when wrestling was defined by fierce competition between promotions. Triple H, on the other hand, embodies WWE's dominance and the consolidation of power that came with it. Their clash isn't just personal, it's symbolic of a larger struggle over what wrestling was.
And I was like, oh God, what's going on here? Why is this the way that it is? And then we powered through it. We grudged through it. And, we went our separate ways, man. And there was nothing we could do about it. We just had to go out and try to do our job.
And could be. As this story continues to unfold, it's worth considering how Triple H himself might respond. Known for his calculated demeanor, Triple H has often avoided public spats, preferring to let his work speak for itself. However, Goldberg's comments are unlikely to go unanswered, especially given the weight they carry. Will Triple H address the allegations head-on, or will he choose to rise above the controversy? Either way, his response or lack thereof will speak volumes about his character and his approach to leadership. For now, the wrestling world is left in a state of suspense, torn between loyalty to two legends and the lingering questions about what truly happens behind the scenes. Goldberg's truth may never be fully corroborated, but its impact is undeniable. It has sparked a conversation that goes beyond individual rivalries, forcing fans to confront the complexities of an industry they love. And in doing so, it has ensured that the legacies of both Goldberg and Triple H will be debated for years to come.